microphone should be on now. Hello, my friends. Hello to Metal Brain and Nova. You guys are always like the first ones in here. Thank you. Also, hello to Keyseat Game and Autobot Unit 37. Good to see you guys. Goku and Loz just showed up as well. Hello. So, actually, I'll quickly just go ahead. Let's just get right into this. So, left desktop. There we go. Okay. So, as the title suggests, we're doing some tier lists today. Yay! Nothing special. But yeah, so I know these things have been around for quite a while. Like, and I've sort of wanted to, well, I've seen lots of people do them, and I've just never actually done it. So I just kind of thought, well, you know what? Let's change that today. So I'm going to go ahead. We've got two tier lists lined up. I put these together myself. We're going to do one for Sonic games and another for Transformers shows. Now we're going to do the Sonic games ones first, as you guys can probably see here. And basically, we'll just sort of, now keep in mind, guys, this will be my opinion. If you guys agree or disagree with me, that's fine. I'll probably end up explaining my opinions on some of these as well. But, you know, that's part of the fun of it. And let's see. So, of course, the different categories we've got here. So, I put this one together myself. So, we've got most Sonic games in here, along with a couple of spin-offs. But it won't be every single game. I've just listed most of the major ones. So, anyway. Let's see. Coltronus. Hi there, Rui. Any thoughts on Red Steel WRB Brutus? I've got no idea what that is. Coltronus, is that a new Transformers toy, maybe? I'm not sure. But let's see. But anyway, so the tiers that we've got here, we have, of course, absolutely amazing at the top. A really great experience. An enjoyable game. Could have been better. I hate it. Or I could say that louder, but no. Actually, maybe I can make the, you know, I'll actually make this a little bit larger, because it might be kind of, I'm not sure how hard that is for you guys to read. I'm going to make it maybe just a smidge bit bigger. Actually, yeah, I guess, yeah, I'll make it a little larger. Here we go, yep. So I'm not sure of how well you guys can read that text, but anyway. Let's see, is this Sonic Games there list? Essentially, yeah, Anti-Maximal. I sort of went ahead and I put together, a tier list. This is one I put together myself. It's not one that was already pre-made. I just thought it'd be easier that way. Put my own spin on it. Not the mama. What's that supposed to mean? Wait, where's Frontiers? It should be on there. Let's see. Yep, Frontiers. It's right there. Don't worry, but if you're wondering where, but anyway. And don't you worry, guys. I'm gonna all the mainstream games are on here, along with a couple of spin-offs. So we'll see where these things are. I think this tier list is outdated. Well, Minty Tales, this is one I put together myself, actually. It's not an official one. I just sort of listed all the games I could at the top of my head. It's not every single game. So, essentially, don't you worry. And Frontiers is in here. It's right there. I'm not sure if you can see, but right there. That's Frontiers. Let's see. What's your thoughts on Optimus Prime's girlfriend, Elita 1? I think Elita 1's cool. I think there's nothing wrong with Transformers having love interests. I feel like maybe we could see a little bit more of Elita 1, but, yeah. But yeah, so anyways, guys, I think we've wasted enough time. We may as well just jump straight into this. I'll try and do these in chronological order, because as you can see, they're not really listed in chronological order here. But anyway. Okay, so as I was saying, we've got sort of absolutely amazing all the way down to I hate it. And I've got here haven't played but would like to play, and haven't played don't really want to. So essentially, those are just for games that I haven't played. Because despite being a big Sonic fan, I haven't played all of these games, so... But anyways, let's just... Enough stalling, let's just get right into this. So we'll start here, Sonic 1. I'm going to put this one in here, enjoyable game, because it was the first of its kind back in 1991, of course. I will say, compared to some of the games that followed, it is kind of, it is quite small, and some might say boring, but it set a really good foundation, and of course it was the first game of the series, and you know, you have to, you know, it makes sense to start off somewhat small and then work your way up the ladder, so I'll give that one an enjoyable game. It did take me a bit to learn, but yeah, anyway. Oh boy, I'm hyped for this. I grew up with Sonic 06, Classic 93, and Sonic Generations. Oh, that's cool, Maximal. Let's see. Why do you not have Sonic Schoolhouse on here? Well, here's the thing, Michael. So I listed, so I put this one together myself, and this is for those that maybe came in late. I listed all the Sonic games at the top of my head. I could have. Not every single game's in here. I've got all the mainstream ones, along with a few spin-offs. But yeah, so essentially... It's just sort of games I listed at the top of my head, so that would be why Schoolhouse isn't in there, and frankly, I don't think really anyone cares about that game, to be, with all due respect. Okay. Let's see. So anyways, moving on. Let's see, where's Sonic 2? Here it is. Sonic 2, I'm going to put this one in, I think I'll put this one in an enjoyable game as well. Mostly because it was a big step up from Sonic 2, from Sonic 1. But, again, and like, brought in the spin dash, they have more levels, and, we got Tails in there as well, you can't go wrong with that. Again, though, it's sort of, it made a good step up. I would say it was better than that one, but a really great experience. That's usually for games that fall just short of perfect, and I feel this game maybe had a little bit more going for it. That's just me, though. Plus, there were a couple of levels in Sonic 2 that really drove me nuts, like the, what was it? I can't remember, what was it? The Sky Fortress level or whatever? I can't remember. Let's see. Well, you guys are really active in here today. My only first game was Sonic Unleashed. It's been a while since I haven't played, but I would rather enjoyable. Yep. Hope Unleashed gets a good rating. That battle with Dark Gaia is a masterpiece to me. That was a good final battle, Minty Tails. Let's see. I did play that game. It was getting annoying when you kept dying. Playing as Tails is much easier. Yeah. Silver was so freaking annoying as the boss in 2006. It's always with the "it's no use" thing, like, shut up. Yeah, but that's where the memes sort of come from there, Maximal. It was a joke. Yeah, don't worry, Michael. I know you were joking. I know you were joking. It's okay. Let's see. But so Sonic 3. Now, technically it's Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I just like to put the two games together because I never played them separately on the Genesis. Some of you guys could probably tell I didn't grow up in the 90s. I'm a 21st century born person, so... But I still played Sonic... So when it came to Sonic 3, I played Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And this one's going to go up to here, a really great experience. This is one of my favorite 2D Sonic games. We got Knuckles in there. A really great story, and we kind of got like somewhat of a some like very small cutscenes in there as well. Like, I think they really upped the ante in the quality for this one. Really catchy soundtrack, and like I know lots of people regard this one as their favorite, like particularly those that were big Genesis fans back in the day, which I could see why. It's a really fun game. Again, I'm more a modern fan because so I do have a little bit of a bias, but that's just, yeah, but still, really good game regardless, and, yeah, I would definitely play that one again. See, oh, actually, here's one I missed, actually, real quick. Sonic CD. I think I'm going to put this one in... Could have been better. Now, Sonic CD, it had a lot of really good things in there, don't get me wrong, like, the opening scene's amazing, we got Amy, Metal Sonic as well, and the soundtrack's amazing. But I just honestly, out of all these 4 Sonic games that we've gotten here, this one was probably my least favorite. It's just the special stages with the time zone, with the time stones and everything, didn't do it for me, and the whole jumping between past and the future got a bit confusing. So again, the game certainly wasn't terrible. Like, I still had somewhat fun, but if I had to pick out of these 4 classics, that one was definitely probably my least favorite. So again, if you guys like Sonic CD, that's fine. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just felt maybe it could have done with some more things. That's just me, though. Haven't played any of these. Oh, you're not really a Sonic fan there, Dino Man? Let's see. I did not play Sonic 3 because I don't have the game station for it, but I still think it's good. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, like, I never owned the original Sonic 3. I've just always had Sonic 3 and Knuckles that was remastered for PC, but, yeah. Anyways, let's see. Also, hello to Random the Hedgehog. Glad you could make it. Let's see. Oh, Sonic CD. I don't like that game because I suck at the second boss fight. Yeah, wasn't CD supposed to be the second game? Well, I think that's a good point there, Minty Tails. I think technically Sonic CD takes place before Sonic 2, actually. You're right, I just kind of forgot it was there. But, yeah, so essentially, and like I said, guys, I know everyone's got their own opinions here, and look, guys, look, this is going to be my opinion, so if you guys don't agree with me, just please don't get angry and don't get, just please, if you have certain opinions, just don't be mean about it. Like, everyone's inclined to have their own opinions, and yes, all I just say is, if you have an opinion on something, just please be respectful. That's all I ask. If anyone is being disrespectful, you will be kicked from the stream. But anyways, moving on, let's go with this one here, Sonic 3D Blast. I have not played this game, and I'm not sure I really want to be honest. Like, look, it was like as far as I'm aware, it was the first 3D Sonic game, and I don't think it was all that good from what I've heard. Like I said, I haven't really consumed much of 3D Blast, and it's not really one of those games that I'm really dying to play. It's just sort of like, oh, I know it exists, sort of thing. Like, I don't really feel a desperate need to play that game, unlike some other ones in here that I haven't played, but I would like to. So yeah, 3D Blast just sort of sits down there. Like, I haven't played it, and I'm not really too fussed if I don't play it, to be honest. Do you have thoughts on Metroplex and Trypticon? I think they're really cool, Metroplex and Trypticon from Transformers. The really nice addition, giant, Titan-sized Transformers, city-sized Transformers. Yeah, they were really great additions to Season 3 of G1, and yeah, they've made a, yeah. Let's see, what was next in this lineup? I'm trying to think. Let's see. Maybe... I'm trying to do these in order, as you guys can probably tell. I think maybe Sonic Adventure? Maybe? Let's see. Oh yeah, one game I forgot to put in here was Sonic R. Bugger. Shoot, should have put that one in there. Well, if I was gonna do Sonic R, I'd probably put that one in here. I haven't played Sonic R, but I would like to give it a shot because I do love the soundtrack to that game. Let's see. Opinion on Mario? I think Mario is cool. I've played a lot of good Mario games in my time, enjoyed most of them. I do kind of prefer Sonic a little bit, but then again, like, it's nothing against... I'm not one of those people that, like, constantly says, oh, Sonic's way better and everything. No. I don't really like to create conflict within communities, so, like, yeah. Like, I just prefer Sonic, but, again, I've had some good experiences with Mario, and I'm looking forward to the new movie. That looks really good. There's just some Sonic games me and Nova don't know of. Yeah, that's true, Metal Bread. And like, I remember when I was really new to the franchise, I'd heard of lots of games, and then I hear about this one, like, wait, this was a game? Like, I didn't even know. Alright. But let's see. So, what was I? So I think we'll do Sonic Adventure next. This one I'm gonna put... Yeah, we'll put this one... I should put this one. Yeah, I'll put it in Absolutely Amazing, I think. I've just put it... Oh, actually... Or should I... No, actually, I'll put it down here. Really great experience. Because Adventure 1, I really had a lot of fun with it. The reason why it falls just short of Absolutely Amazing is because it did have some problems going for it. Like, for instance, I felt the levels with Big were really annoying. What else? Let's see... Like, so the game had a few things that just really... It's not much in it, though. Like, I felt tempted to put it in there, Absolutely Amazing. But Absolutely Amazing is really only for games that I feel are perfect and could not have been, like, are just perfect the way they are. Well, that's the thing. I think Adventure just had some really slight nitpicks that just brings it down a little bit. But it's, other than that, like, the voice cast was really good. The soundtrack was amazing. It was the first real way for Sonic to shine in 3D. And yeah, I really can't say enough nice things about the first Sonic Adventure. Now, Sonic Adventure 2, this one goes up here to Absolutely Amazing. Don't forget Adventure had clipping issues. That's true, yeah, exactly. Adventure had a couple of issues with it, so that's why I felt I'd just drop it down a smidge, but anyway. I still hate Sonic Unleashed and that embarrassing werehog form and that one annoying red creature. Oh, Chip. Yeah, I mean, Chip was definitely a bit more childish, but, I actually, on one hand, really enjoy Unleashed, but again, as I've said, I'll probably be saying this a lot throughout the stream, but yeah, guys, if you have opinions on things, just don't, be... Like, it's okay to share your opinions, just don't get aggressive or hateful with anyone who has a different opinion on something, because, everyone's got their own opinions, and, it's not in your position to put someone down for having a different opinion. So yeah, just, like, please, guys, just be respectful in here, and yeah, just don't cause any trouble. But yeah, so back to Adventure 2. That one, man, that game was a great step up from Sonic Adventure. We got, like, 2 stories in there. It's sort of like, you had a good story and a bad story. Got the introduction of Shadow and Rouge, 2 really great characters. Shadow, of course, being my second favorite Sonic character behind Sonic himself. So yeah, great addition to see him. The story was probably my favorite story in the Sonic series. The soundtrack's also my favorite Sonic soundtrack. I've heard lots of really great... well, just about all the Sonic soundtracks are really good, but this one is still the best in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I love a lot of the more recent soundtracks and everything, especially Frontiers, but nah, yeah, Sonic Adventure 2, like, trust me guys, Live and Learn, you can't go past that song. That song is god tier. I freaking love Crush 40 for what they did there, and yeah, like, I just can't say enough nice things about Adventure 2. It pretty much really is at the time, it probably was the best Sonic game. And then lots of people still call it the best Sonic game ever made, so frankly, like, it deserves that, you know, absolutely amazing spot. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. All Sonic Adventure. Oh, you meant Sonic Adventure 2? Okay. Sonic Adventure 2 is a great game. I liked it because the main soundtrack is good. Yeah, exactly. The soundtrack in here was really well done, like, as I just said, yeah. But yeah, that's sort of Sonic Adventure 2, and yeah, that's just sort of where it sits. 3D Blast kind of sucks. Yeah, exactly. That's why I put it down here, Michael. Like, I haven't played it, but I'm not really too fussed if I don't play it. It's not on my desperate needs to play. So, anyway. That's just sort of the way it is. But anyways, moving on. Where is this next one? I saw it before. Ah, there it is. Sonic Heroes. This one I'm going to put here. Haven't played it, but I would like to play it. I've heard some good things about Heroes. I've seen cutscene movies and everything. Of course, I've listened to the soundtrack. Like, I love the soundtrack in there. What I'm Made Of is an absolute banger. I like the idea of this sort of, you know, all the different teams working together. And, essentially, and like I said, you know, I haven't played Heroes. I know it's not quite as good as Adventure 1 or 2, but for the most part, it still is an enjoyable game nonetheless, so I would love to give it a shot one day. Too bad Heroes will never likely be remade. This is why I never sold my PS2. Oh! Yeah, that's true actually, Minty Tales, because I actually, an old friend of mine gave me his old PS2 as a Christmas present last year. That's why I was able to play the Ace Combat PS2 trilogy. So the fact that Heroes is on there, I'm planning on maybe getting Heroes eventually, which I'm looking forward to. So again, like, you know, I said, I haven't played Heroes yet, but there's a fair chance I'll probably get if I can get my hands on a copy for a half decent price, you know, I probably will get the chance to play it eventually. Let's see. So that's Heroes. What was next? I think Sonic Battle came next, maybe. Because I put Sonic Battle. Here we go, Sonic Battle. Again, I haven't played it, but I would like to play it. Like, the Sonic Battle, it was kind of like, as far as I'm aware, I've seen some gameplay of it. I haven't seen the whole thing. But, as far as I'm aware, it was a Sonic fighting game. And essentially, it was, going to sort of be... Well, essentially, I know one could say it's like a Sonic version of Smash Bros, but I think it's very different to Smash Bros in a way. So, but from what I've heard, it's quite fun, so I would like to give it a shot. And I believe it was also the last game that had the Dreamcast era cast, like Ryan Drummond, Scott Dreyer, David Humphrey, all those guys. So, in a way, I think it'll be a fun game to experience, actually, Sonic Battle. Let's see. Sonic Heroes was the first Sonic game I played. Okay, so yeah, I think most of you guys are sort of saying Heroes is good. Yeah, Sonic Heroes was epic. That's what Nova said. Come back. Also, have you played Fall of Cybertron? Autobot Unit? I freaking love Transformers Fall of Cybertron. Best Transformers game ever made. And yeah, I'm really excited for Transformers Reactivate. I'm really hoping it's on par with Fall of Cybertron, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I freaking love Fall of Cybertron. I sadly only get 4 Sonic games due to my mom saying no to everything, and she wants things that I'm spoiled brat. Oh, okay. Never heard of Sonic Battle? Yeah, again, there's a lot of spin-off games in here that, you know, I sort of threw in here just because there's some that I'd really like to try. Now, let's see, what's next? I think the Sonic Advance trilogy is next. And I'm going to make this one quick, guys. Sonic Advance trilogy, they're all going in here. All of them. Sonic Advance, I think, actually, there we go. That's the right order, I think. So yeah, I have not played the Sonic Advance trilogy either, but out of all the games in this list that I want to play, these 3 are the ones I want to play the most, because, you know, I've heard lots of really good things about them. Like, from what I've heard, like, I think Advance 3's not as good as these other 2, but still, I really want to enjoy them because, you know, I've played the Sonic Rush trilogy as well, and, like, those were really great. Like, you know, so I would love to give the Sonic Advance trilogy a crack, but sadly I don't have a Game Boy Advance, so yeah, that kind of sucked, but maybe one day I'll get to play them. Because I remember a couple of weeks ago, I think during the last Nintendo Direct or something, they showcased old Game Boy Advance games getting ported to the Switch, and the first thing I thought of, does this mean Sega can do Sonic Advance Remastered? Because trust me guys, yeah, as I said, all the games on here that I want to play most, that I haven't played, it's these 3. I really want to give these a try. We should play the GameCube version since the PS2 was a piece of crap. Oh, really? The PS2 version of Heroes was bad? Okay, I was not aware of that, actually. I was not aware that that was the bad version. Literally, that's that. So speaking of bad games, though, next up, Shadow the Hedgehog. Haven't played this, and it's coming in here, nor do I really want to. Now, as I said, Shadow is my second favorite character, but I've seen cutscenes and everything of this game. It's very dark, and it just doesn't really, like, I mean, in normal movies and everything that have, like, this sort of dark and gritty atmosphere, I actually normally enjoy, but, you know, frankly, that's just sort of the way. Yeah, so I'm not really too interested in playing Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, the story is a bit of a mess, like, all the different, and I think it would probably take me forever to beat it because of all the different stories you've got. Like, you've got good, like, somewhat good, neutral, evil, somewhat evil, or something like that. I'm not sure, but so I just think, like, I just feel like I wouldn't really get much out of playing that game. Plus, I don't really want Shadow to be, well, it kind of is half ruined for me, but still, I don't really want to, I don't feel the need to play that game that much. So let's see, after this one came Sonic 06, I believe. Let's see, hold on, what are you guys saying here? Also, I think you can get Sonic Heroes on Steam, I believe. Oh, really? I'm not too sure on that, Michael. I'll take a look actually after the stream, but because I know you can get Adventure 1 and 2 on Steam. That's how I got to play them. I don't think Heroes is on there, but I'll take a look. So let's see. Anyway, so Sonic 06 is next. Now, I know some of you guys have been saying this game's the worst and everything, and I can see why. And don't hate me for this, guys, but I'm putting it here. Could have been better. Then just hear me out. Here's why I'm putting it here and not I hate it. I have played Sonic 06, and to be honest, guys, I thought it was okay. Here's the thing, though. Let me explain. Shadow's storyline in that game was perfect. Like, Shadow's characterization was on point. That's how I want Shadow to be casted, like, forever. Like, he was very serious, and, like, he had a bit of an edge to him, but he wasn't, like, a full-blown edgelord. And, we also got Silver in this game. He's my third favorite character. So, like, yeah, and, like, so my three favorite characters were all playable in this, so, you know, that's one thing. As for what brings it down, the story's a bit of a mess. Also, not to mention a certain princess who does practically nothing in this game. Like, I mean, that's the one thing. Like, Sonic's story in this game here is pretty terrible. Like, it doesn't really do much. Like, he's just constantly rescuing a damsel in distress. Like, so again, like, I feel like Sonic's story should have been revamped, and I don't think this game would have been even. But of course, the one thing that really brought this game down, let's see, yeah, many glitches and very long loading. Exactly, Minty Tails. Again, this game was a bit of a glitchy mess, but here's the thing. The reason for that is because, like, Sega was rushed. They rushed the game for the holiday season, and frankly, I feel like if they had have had more time, like, the game probably would have been much better. Like, they could have fixed up all the glitches, maybe the loading times wouldn't have been as bad. I don't think it still wouldn't have been as good as, say, Adventure 1 and 2, but I still think the game... I still think some people out there just slam it too much, because the 06 soundtrack was phenomenal. It's one of my favorite soundtracks out there. And, like, look, the game had a lot of potential. It just didn't get the treatment it deserved. Sonic 06 was missed potential. Exactly, yeah, exactly. Let's see. Also, Leo Plur on the Dynaman. Just take it easy on the roleplay there, mate. I know that's a reference to Revenge of the Fallen, but just take it easy on the roleplay there, mate. At least some of the glitches were fun. Exactly. Like, and the thing is, because remember when I played this game, I still had fun with it. Like, it did have its frustrating moments, but, you know, we had a lot of playable characters. Mephiles, I thought, was a really good villain. And like I said, it had some opportunities. And, of course, I kind of already said this about Elise, but yeah, trust me, like, Sonic X Elise is probably the one ship I hate more than Sonado. But yeah, guys, so, like, I'll just say that, guys, like, yeah, like, Sonic 06, it was a rushed game, and it could have been better. Like, that's why I don't slam it too hard. Like, the game was just rushed. Like, if they... there's this running joke I know of that people say, I reckon Sonic... Where people often say things like, Sonic 2007 probably would have been much better. Which I agree. And I've played, Sonic P06, which is like that remaster in Unity, and that's actually really fun, so it kind of shows what the game could have been, so yeah. Again, so like I said, I feel like Sonic 06 just could have had, it had potential, it just didn't get the love, treatment it deserved. I'd say if they had at least another year, it would have been miles better. Yeah, exactly, I kind of just said that as well, Michael. But yeah, so yeah, exactly. If they had to just have maybe one more year to work on it, the game probably would have, like I said, it probably wouldn't have been as good as Adventure 1 and 2, but it definitely, I still think 06 gets slammed too much, because, yeah. See, actually, we'll skip on a little bit, because we've actually missed a game here. We're going to jump over here to Sonic Rush. That actually came before Sonic 06, and I'm going to put this game up here. So Sonic Rush, I love this game. It was actually one of the first Sonic games, actually I think it was the first Sonic game I played, I think. Because my introduction to the series was actually the Mario and Sonic at the Olympics series, which I didn't put in here because, because Mario's in it. And again, nothing against Mario, I do like the Mario franchise, it's just, I wanted to keep things strictly Sonic related. But yeah, so I remember sort of that series introduced me to Sonic, and then I sort of thought, maybe I should play some games from this guy, and I remember Sonic Rush, I think was the first one that I got, because I had a Nintendo DS at the time, of course. And yeah, I freaking love this game, and I think it was the first game to bring in the boost mechanic. We got Blaze, who's probably my favorite female Sonic character. And yeah, the soundtrack was such a bop as well. Like, yeah, I mean, I can't really say enough things about Sonic Rush. A really good experience. I would love to see a remaster on the Switch, maybe, because I feel the game just really would deserve it. But yeah, just can't say enough nice things about Sonic Rush. That was a really fun game, and it sort of really helped kickstart my love for Sonic. Let's see. Unpopular opinion, Princess Elise was my first fictional crush as a kid. Oh, really, Maximal? I mean, each to their own. I don't discriminate. If that was your opinion, that's fine. I mean, because everyone, of course, changes with times and everything, so that's, you know. Never heard of Sonic Rush, but I heard of Blaze, which was first shown in there. Yeah, exactly. This was Blaze's debut, and I think it was a good debut for Blaze, actually. Because, like, she sort of starts off with this one person who's used to doing things alone. She's like, no, I've got to do this alone. I have to do this alone. And Sonic's like, no, you don't. Like, you know, everyone's trying to show her you don't have to look out for yourself. You can, if you learn to trust others, you know, it has a really good moral in there. I think one that a lot of people really deserve to hear, particularly for younger children as well. Like, you don't have to do things alone. So, moving on, we'll go with Sonic Rush's sequel, Sonic Rush Adventure. I'm going to put this in here, an enjoyable game. So, I actually enjoyed this game quite a bit. I still prefer the original Rush. Similar to the other one, though, really good soundtrack. The story was a little bit, wasn't quite as good as this one, I'd say. But, and some of the characters were a little bit, interesting. Like, I can't remember his name, but he was kind of like, Sonic's rival, and this one was like another version of Jet the Hawk. So, and we'll get to Sonic Riders eventually, but still, yeah, I feel like, and we've got Marine the Raccoon, who is meant to be an Australian, which, as an Aussie, I could sort of get behind. If she was a little bit childish, but still, like, I gotta show respect to Australian characters. They don't get much love these days. And plus, Marine, you know, she matures by the end, so she sort of grows up. Again, I don't think it's as good as the original Rush, but it still was a fun game nonetheless, and I still had a good time doing it. It did get some frustration out of it, but still, I had fun with it. Mephiles was also a step up for Sonic 06. Absolutely, Minty Tails. He's definitely one of my favorite Sonic villains. I've got a plan with Sonic 06's story, which won't be for a while. Oh, is that like a fanfic or something you're planning, Michael? Good to hear. What's with the I hate it tier? You'll see, Dino Man. I'm saving that for something. That's going to be for games that I honestly just would never want to touch again, maybe. You'll see when I get there. Oh, the green robot's Johnny the Rocket. Thank you for that, thank you for that, Minty Tails. Yeah, I forgot what his name was. Okay, but next on the list, I believe, was Sonic Riders, I think. The first one. Now, this is another one I haven't played, but I would definitely like to give it a shot, because, Sonic Riders is, it's, well, from what I've heard, it's meant to be pretty fun. It was it was a new type of racing game as well, because, you know, you had games like Mario Kart and everything, but rather than cars, they went with hoverboards, and I thought it was a unique thing. It fits the Sonic bill, but it kind of fits the Sonic world in a way. We got 3 cool new rival characters, Jet, Wave, and Storm. I thought they were a really good bunch. The opening sequence was really well done as well. The story was interesting. And yeah, I think Sonic Riders is a really good Sonic. Well, it looks like a fun Sonic game. I think it's had its problems, like some glitches and everything, but I still think, you know, it's just sort of, it's just the best way to, you know, and so speaking of Sonic Riders, I think we'll go with, well, I'm not sure if this one came next, but we'll do it anyway. Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. Now, I've heard this game was meant to be a step down from the others, but I don't think it was meant to be a bad step down, so I'm going to put it in here. I wouldn't mind actually giving it a shot, seeing how bad it actually is. Like I said, so I think it wasn't quite as good as the first, but I think... But like I've seen cutscenes of it, and it still looked like the story was really engaging. And I think the gameplay wasn't... It wasn't like unplayable like another Sonic Riders game in here. But yeah, so Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. I would like to give it a shot. Similar reason to Sonic Riders. I feel like I could still get some enjoyable out of it. But since we're on Sonic Riders, we may as well just do the other one. Free Riders, that goes here. Yeah, guys, Free Riders, no way am I playing that game. I've heard that game was broken, essentially, being a Kinect game. And, like, you know, I haven't played it, and nor do I really want to. Like, the game, like, out of all the Riders games, it just did not have, it had lacked the most potential. The only thing I think people really liked about this game was probably just the song Free that came with it. Because that song's a real good song. But trust me, like, I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole. I've heard people say this game is worse than, like, Sonic 06. And frankly, I could sort of see why. Like, it's just, you know, the controls weren't refined properly, and unfortunately, this game is sort of what killed Sonic Riders, because that's another thing with Sega. Once something doesn't work, like, they have, like, a big failure with it, they wipe the idea. That's what happened with 06. Like, that sort of was the end of the adventure formula. And that's sort of, yeah, Sonic Free Riders brought the end of, the Riders games, which is a real shame because I felt Sonic Riders really could have stuck around and maybe have been the main sort of Sonic racing format in a way. But anyway, I struggled with Sonic Riders for some reason. Maybe it's the PS2 version, the controls. I don't know. I couldn't play Riders for the life of me. Oh, okay. Yeah, again, like you said, because I know, as you said there, Michael, I know lots of different console imports can have problems, and it's not just with Sonic; it's with games overall. Like, people often say things like, "Oh, yeah." Like, oh yeah, but if you're gonna play it, definitely play the Xbox version over the PlayStation version. So yeah, I think it's just some games just don't get ported properly to other platforms, or they don't refine them properly. So you know, it just is what it is, really. Let's see. From what I've seen, there's like maybe 2 games on the Kinect that actually worked. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, I've heard of games on the Kinect, but yeah, like, I do have an Xbox, but I don't have a Kinect, and yeah, I think Kinect was like, they were trying to do something similar to, well, I suppose some could say it was like the precursor to VR, but honestly, in my opinion, the precursor to VR was the Nintendo Wii. Like, that game had some very similar things to virtual reality. Sure, it wasn't quite, you know, as advanced as VR, but I honestly would consider the Wii to be the precursor to VR. That's just the way I see it, but, you know, that game had the potential, like, with motion controls and everything, and that worked way better, so, yeah, that's just me. Hey, Dynaman shot, that was years ago? Oh, okay, yeah, is Dynaman saying something? Oh, okay, yeah, Dynaman, yeah, don't do that, mate. Like, if you keep this up, I might have to time you out, I'm afraid. I see what you're saying there to Maximal. Don't do that sort of thing here, mate. But anyway, let's move on. We'll do, I think, yeah, okay, we'll get back to the game. So, Sonic and the Secret Rings. Again, this is a game I have not played. I know I said I have a Wii, but I did not play this game just because I actually didn't know about its existence until I got a bit older. But I don't think I really want to play it, to be honest. I've heard the game, it's practically impossible to play. Like, the controls are really janky. I've seen cutscenes. The story actually, I think, is pretty good for the most part. But I think the gameplay is really janky, like, the controls are really hard to get the hang of, and ultimately, in the end, it just didn't really work. Like, I think lots of people just say it's utterly broken, similar to 06. Like, I'm not really, so yeah, again, I'm not really too keen on playing Secret Rings. I'm happy to watch a cutscene movie of it any day, because the story and the cutscenes and everything are really well done, but, yeah, I'm not really too keen on giving this game a shot. I felt tempted to a few years ago, but I just kind of thought, seeing how people often slam how hard it is, yeah, just, yeah, I'm not really too keen on doing that. Let's see. It's strange that you said that, dude, because I could play Unleashed on PS2, no problem. Well, yeah, that's the thing, because Sonic Unleashed actually got an interesting port. It got, like, PS2, Wii, but then, of course, the PS3 and Xbox versions were, like, high-quality versions. You had low-quality versions, because I think that was the time where, sort of high-definition games were still just, like, kind of brand new. So I think they were still trying to find a way and trying to balance it out, like put some games on older platforms and some games on newer platforms, so people like could still transition easier. I'm not quite sure though. Horrible controls, yep, that's definitely about Sonic and the Secret Rings. Hey Dino Man, I've warned you already, mate. Don't ship people in the chat with other people. Like I see what you just did with Minty Tails. If you do that one more time, I'm sorry, but I will have to time you out. Don't do that in here, mate. I've got stream rules, guys, in the description. Make sure you read those. If anyone who doesn't oblige by those will be kicked. So yeah, Dino Man, I'm giving you one more warning there, mate. Don't ship people in the chat with other things, because that's not really the right thing to do. I only heard of it, but all I know is when Sonic has a Darkspine form. Yeah. Me and my sister had secret rings. Don't know where my copy went, but I'm not crying over it. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Okay, but anyways, moving on. What was next? Unleashed, I think, was next. Okay, Unleashed. This game, I'm going to put up here in really great experience. I'm thinking... Okay, yeah, hold on a sec, guys. Okay, I'm sorry, Dino Man, but I'm putting you in a timeout there, mate. I've given you some warnings there, and Michael's just asked you to stop. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna have to time you out there. That's just I've given you warnings, and you're not playing by them, so I've put you in timeout. Okay, sorry about that, guys. But anyway, so Unleashed, a lot of fun with this game. This one's definitely in my top 5 favorite Sonic games. I played the Wii version pretty early on. I did get my hands on the Xbox 360 version later, which I'm glad I did because that version's way better. Beautiful soundtrack, wonderful story, and it also brought in my favorite formula, the boost formula. And I know some people have their own opinions, but the reason why I love the boost formula is because it's such an adrenaline rush. Like, you just hold the boost button, it's gradually build up speed, and you're just going through enemies. It's just so good. Like, you just feel free. You feel like you're unstoppable when you just hold down that boost button and go flying. I love the HD version of Unleashed. Yeah, well said, Michael, well said. Yeah, the HD version of Unleashed is amazing. Of course, the reason why it's not absolutely amazing is because of the Werehog stages. I actually enjoy fighting games, and I thought the Werehog stages weren't terrible. But, essentially, basically, let's see, the Werehog stages brought it down, but I feel like the problem with the Werehog stages, they were a bit too long, mostly. I don't think it was terrible, but I think that's the one thing that sort of prevented the game from being a bit better. And one other thing I didn't like in Unleashed was how you had to collect the Sun and Moon medals. I know it was kind of similar to, say, Mario 64, but honestly, I just don't think that really fits a Sonic game, to be honest. Having to collect some things to advance, that just doesn't really fit Sonic's playstyle, or like the formula for Sonic. It works in Frontiers, but anyway, so that's sort of... but yeah, Unleashed, really good game, and I know some people have said they didn't like it, but still, yeah, I really enjoyed Unleashed, and yeah, I might have to stream it one day eventually. Endless Possibilities, my favorite. Yes, the soundtrack in here is definitely among my top 5, maybe even top 3, I think. Unleashed, a really good game. So next is Black Knight. I'm gonna put this one in Could Have Been Better. This again was one of the first Sonic games I ever played. I think it might have been, was it the second one maybe? I think it was, yeah, I think it was probably the second one. Like, after Rush. And at the time as a kid, I really enjoyed it. Like, you had Sonic with a sword. Like, how cool was that? A sword. Like, I thought, like, the storyline in Black Knight was really good. The soundtrack was amazing. Like, you can't go wrong with Night of the Wind. But then again, looking back at it now, yeah, it is kind of a pain to play. Yeah, again, it was definitely a step up from the Secret Rings, but yeah, again, I feel like it just kind of lacked a little bit. It could have maybe done with a little bit more refinement. Like, again, the story was really well done, and I had a really important message. Like, that quote from Sonic at the end, every world has its end. I know that's kind of sad, but that's why we've got to live life to the fullest in the time we have. Like, that quote has been one of the biggest quotes of Sonic for years, and that's one reason why I hold a lot of respect for this game. Like, it's got a really important message. Speaking of Black Knight, here's the song from Black Knight. What were the odds of that? But, yeah, I just feel Black Knight, it could have done with some tweaking, but overall, I still think it's still worth the play. And I know some people really love this game for their reasons, and that's totally fine. PS2 and Wii version does the medals better though? Yeah, that's true, Michael. I'll give you that for Unleashed. The Wii version of Unleashed and the PS2 version did the medals a lot better. But yeah, the quality overall in Unleashed, like if you're gonna play Unleashed, I definitely say do the high def version on Xbox 360 or PS3. Oh, I love Black Knight. I also like the soundtrack. Yep. Again, it had a lot of good things, Black Knight. It just didn't execute them properly. But anyways, moving on. I think we'll do Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing next. Now this I haven't played, actually. But where would I put it? You know, I'll put it here. Because although I haven't played it, and to be honest, I'm not really stressed about playing it because I played the sequel, which we'll do next. Like, but I haven't played Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. And I'll say this, if someone, like if a friend of mine came around and had the game and just said, oh hey, you want to play this? I'd be like, yeah, sure, like I'd be more than happy to play it and give it a shot, but let's just say I'm not really feeling the need to buy it because I've already got the sequel, All-Stars Transformed. So, again, that's what made me felt tempted to put it in here, but from what I've heard, the game was actually pretty good, so I'll put it in here for the sake of that. Now, in regards to this next one here, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, this one goes up here. This was, in my opinion, the best Sonic racing game or car racing game ever. You had... Now, of course, I have a bias here because, as you guys know, I'm a big Transformers fan as well. And frankly, like, getting the transforming vehicles in there, like, I saw this game and I just knew I had to get this. I freaking loved it. Like, the levels were really good. Like, they had a good mix of characters in there. I honestly was not expecting to see the Team Fortress 2 cast in there. That was a really nice surprise for someone who's a big TF2 fan. But, yeah, I freaking love this game. And, yeah, like, I might have to play it on stream one day, actually, because this is my favorite Sonic racing game. Like, but I think my favorite level was definitely the aircraft carrier level. Like, because of course it gives me Top Gun vibes, and if you guys have followed me long enough, you'll know I freaking love Top Gun as well. And on a side note, actually, I remember one time, a few years back, I was playing through that level, and I turned the game music off and had Danger Zone playing in the background. I'm sorry, like, look, as a hardcore Top Gun fan, you think of things, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, freaking love that game, and I think actually, this game actually also, I think this was the first, like, well, sort of racing game to bring in sort of the whole land, sea, and air thing, because I know, Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8 have, you know, the hang gliders and the underwater sections, but I think, and I'm not saying Mario Kart ripped it off, but I think this game actually was the game that brought in that idea. I think this was the first time Sega actually beat Nintendo to something. Of course, it's a bit different, like they use boats instead of submarines and actual planes rather than gliders, but still, I think this game actually was the first to bring that in, so that's sort of something else I think it's worth mentioning. Like I said, I think, I'm not 100% certain, but I think that's, anyway. Have I seen Transformers Shattered Glass? I've consumed a little bit of Shattered Glass. I think it's enjoyable. I've said this a lot of times, I'm still really annoyed that we didn't get that Shattered Glass episode of Transformers Animated. I would have loved that. Dynaman, you don't know what Top Gun is? What's Top Gun? It's the greatest movie of all time. Okay, well, maybe not the greatest movie of all time, but they're my personal favorite movies ever. They star Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, Anthony Edwards, to name a few. It's all about the best pilots of the US Navy, and they sort of then they're sort of like yeah, it's just the best pilots of the US Navy. They're sort of competing to sort of see who's the best. And it's just a really good movie overall. It's got the perfect blend of comedy, action, drama, and romance. And yeah, the Top Gun 1 and Top Gun Maverick that came out last year, like, they're the best movies ever, in my opinion, and none of you are going to change my mind about that. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised, Dynaman, you didn't know what Top Gun was. But I mean, anyway, if you didn't know, you didn't know. And again, mate, just remember, Dynaman, no, if you do something else again, I will remove you fully. I put you in that timeout for a reason. Okay, but moving on, I think as Minty Tails would bring up there, perfect music for Sonic Colors. Yep, so Sonic Colors is next. I'm going to put this game here, an enjoyable game. Again, this was one of my first Sonic games I played. I think it was maybe the third one, I'm not sure. I actually really enjoyed this game. It definitely was, in regards to, like, I know the story was a bit more childish compared to, say, some of the other games, but, honestly, it's sometimes, you know, and I thought the Wisps were a cool addition. However, I feel the Wisps have kind of been a bit overused lately. I like the way they were used in Team Sonic Racing, and I guess they were okay in Sonic Forces, but, so I know this game was a bit more simple, but I guess, but I don't think it was really a bad experience. I think the game was still fun, the soundtrack was still amazing. We've got, of course, the final boss music playing in the background. But, yeah, like, Sonic Colors I thought was a good experience. The voice cast changed. Mixed response there. Like, I still prefer Ryan and Jason over Roger. I do like Roger as Sonic. I feel like he gives a good mature vibe to him. But I could see why people would not really be fond of his performance. And I thought most of the other voice changes were okay. Like, well, technically I had Kate Higgins in here before Colleen O'Shaughnessy, but I thought she was a good Tails, and yeah, I thought some of the voice casts were welcome additions, but others were, just not really the best picks. Like, you know, like I said, Roger as Sonic and Kirk Thornton as Shadow. Probably could have maybe, you know, picked someone else, but still. Again, I still feel Sonic Colors is an enjoyable game, and, you know, I don't think it's really a terrible game at all. Let's see. Me and Nova Prime might watch Top Gun one day, and we'll see why you like it. Yeah, trust me, guys. If anyone in here hasn't seen Top Gun, I would recommend it to anyone. Like I remember when my mum first showed me that movie years ago, I fell in love at first sight, and like, I loved the movie so much. I grew to love it more for later on in my life for personal reasons, which I won't go into too much detail. But yeah, Top Gun's, like, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check it out, and its sequel there. Really good watches. They're regarded as some of the best movies, well, some of the most classic films ever. And yeah, trust me, I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Like, everyone I've showed Top Gun to, I've showed the Top Gun movies to, has always had a good time with them, so yeah. Sonic Colors is alright. I don't really much at heart of it. But I do like the Wisps on the videos. They're cute, yeah. Again, Colors wasn't super hard either. It had some difficult moments, but yeah, it wasn't really... Like I said, it was a bit more of a simple Sonic game rather than these other ones. But then again, sometimes it's okay to take that approach. But next up, I've been waiting for this next one. Where does this one sit? Sonic Generations. Where does that one sit? It's all up here. Sonic Generations, I love it. Sorry if that microphone picked. But now, guys, this game is the best Sonic game ever. I freaking love this game. Generations... Where do I begin? This was the game that sort of... Like I said, it wasn't my first Sonic game, but this was the game that sort of properly... This is the game that got me hooked, essentially. Like, I had played Rush, Black Knight, and Colors before then. But this game had levels from, like, you know, the Genesis era and, of course, the Adventure era. And frankly, Generations, like, it had the two gameplay styles. Like, it was a great way to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Sonic. But because they had all those reused stages and remastered stages, I became curious about all these other games. And frankly, it made me go back and play them. So frankly, without Generations, I probably wouldn't be the hardcore Sonic fan I am today. Like, I could go on and on about how much I love this game. But essentially, just, like, it's the best boost game out there. It was great to see classic Sonic make a return. The graphics are amazing. What else? Like, I just can't say enough nice things about Generations. Like I said, I know I'm not really saying much, but what can I say? It's a masterpiece, this game. It was the perfect way to commemorate 20 years of Sonic, and like, I'd put it on to anyone. Like, if I was going to introduce someone to Sonic, like if I was going to, like, you know, invite a friend around to play Sonic or whatever, I would just, you know, this would be the game I'd show them. Just play this game and you'll see why I love it. Let's see. Sonic Colors is an okay game. I just wish it didn't get an Ultimate re-release. I agree on that one, Michael. Yeah, it didn't need... Like, I think the reason why Sega did Sonic Colors Ultimate was because they said Colors was a good game to start with, which I kind of get, but I feel because I said Colors is a bit more simple, so I guess for the modern era it's somewhat of a good game to start with. But again, I don't think that game didn't need a remaster. I feel like games like Unleashed deserved a remaster, or maybe even Generations, or you know, there were several other games that could have really done with a remaster, not Colors. Well, Sonic Generations was making good progress getting to the end, but when I was fight the final boss, I died. I was close up to beating it, so that's why I rage quit and never coming back. Oh, really? Like, I'll admit, like, that's the one thing I don't like about Generations. Compared to the other Super Sonic final bosses, yeah, the one in Generations is probably one of the worst ones. It takes a bit to... It's not super hard, and it takes a bit to work out what you're doing, but, I mean, it's not too difficult when you think about it. But yeah, again, compared to the other Super Sonic boss fights, it definitely wasn't really the best. So that's the only thing I'll put Generations down for. But aside from that, what more can I say? It's an amazing game. Okay, what was next? I believe... Oh, I see. So we go from being really positive to really negative, guys. Next up is Sonic Lost World. Where does this one sit? I effing hate this thing! I know, I went from being really positive, from my favorite to my least favorite. How's that? Sorry, I just had some water there. But yeah, where do I begin with Lost World? This game, like, I know some people will say, well, why is Sonic 06 above this? Guys, Lost World I can't stand. Like, the gameplay, it feels more like Mario than it is Sonic. And now I should be clear, as I said earlier in the stream, I do like Mario games, but what I always liked about Mario and Sonic is that there's a difference. Like, Mario is more about like platforming and exploration, while Sonic's more about high speed and combat, essentially. Like, that's just to put it simply. But Lost World, they tried to do something different, and frankly, it just looked like a rip-off, or look at a somewhat Sonicified version of Super Mario Galaxy. Like, the stages were very Mario Galaxy-esque. The storyline was rubbish. Like, you know, Knuckles and Amy didn't do anything. Sonic and Tails just were pretty much at each other's throats the whole way through. The Zeti are probably the worst, not only villains in the Sonic series, but probably the worst villains I've seen amongst any game franchise. They're annoying, they're stupid, they're just... like... And I could be wrong here, but I don't think this game had a vocal theme, or a vocal track, which is something that every Sonic game, or most of the modern Sonic games, had leading up to this, but... like, trust me, this game... I could really go on and on about how much I really don't like this game, guys. It was... like, it was like a chore to finish. It felt so slow. The Wisps have, like... there's no explanation why they're there. Like, there's just... this was just... In my opinion, this was just the worst experience of Sonic for me. This just really didn't do it for me. Like I said, this is probably the only game that goes in the I hate it category. But yeah, like... not a fan. Like, this game really made me question, should I play... is this what Sonic is all about? Let's see. Lost World is... Sonic also had the element of platforming, though. Yes, you're right, Michael. Sonic does have the element of platforming, but the way they do it in, say, Unleashed or the classic games, it's done in a way that so it doesn't really slow down the game, but in here, it just didn't really feel right. Like, it just needed more speed. Like, Sonic's all about for being fast. No wonder it was only released on Nintendo needs more lore. Exactly, like, there was... the story in here was probably the worst ever. Like, you know, and the characters had, like, very little development in there. Like, there was... like I said, Lost World's just a... there was... and, like, the soundtrack's very... not really memorable either. There are some tracks in there that you hear and like, oh, that's Lost World. But, compared to some of these... all these other games in here... the soundtrack, I can only remember, say, maybe one or two tracks from it. Oh, I remembered. There were, I I remember just actually 2 other games I forgot to put in this list. Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 1 and 2. Where would I put them? They would be in here. I haven't played them, but I don't really want to. I've heard lots of bad things about those games. I don't really think they're worth the play. I think Episode 2 is meant to be a little better with the multiplayer thing, but still. Yeah, again, I knew I was forgetting some games when I put this together, and yeah, they were too. But yeah, in regards to the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 series, yeah, they would just go down here. Not too interested in those games, but still. Let's see. I will say Sonic is an absolute jerk in Lost World and I hate it. Yes, Michael, thank you. That's another thing I hate. My favorite character is an asshole in this. Like, seriously. Like, what they did in Lost World was just atrocious in my opinion. Like, I remember guys, like, I'm pretty sure I've still got the game. But believe me, every time I see it, I feel tempted just to get a blowtorch and just burn it. Like, freaking hate that game. Okay, but moving on to the Sonic Boom games. I actually haven't played either of these. And I'm going to put them in here. I think I'll discuss them both, actually. So, Rise of Lyric, I've heard lots of really bad things. And frankly, that's why I didn't get it. Like, I think after my experience with Lost World, I just kind of thought, and I heard about Rise of Lyric, I'm like, this looks really weird. Now, in regards to the cartoon, I actually thought the cartoon was really funny. So, like, the Sonic Boom show I'm more than willing to watch, but, still, but the games itself, I've heard a bit of a mess. I haven't heard much about the second one, but the first one, I know was a mess, and I heard lots of people saying, like, don't get it, it's bad, and I just sort of thought, okay, sure, yeah, I'm gonna pass on this. So, yeah, I didn't get it in the end, and I don't really feel the need to pick it up afterwards. But again, so I think I'll just keep it brief, yeah, because how long... Wow, we're already like an hour into this and I've only done the first tier list. I've got 2 lined up. Yeah, so yeah, those 2 games I'm just going to put there. I haven't played them, not really too keen on them. Now, moving on, we're getting pretty low here. So, Sonic Mania. This one goes up here. A really great experience. Sonic Mania was probably my favorite classic Sonic game. I still think my favorite 2D Sonic game is Sonic Rush, but this game was my favorite classic Sonic game. Compared to these 3 here, all the other Genesis games, this one's my favorite. Like, all the remastered stages, all the new stages were really amazing. We got updated sprites, lots of new stages, like, the soundtrack was amazing. Mighty and Ray made a comeback, of course, as well in Sonic Mania Plus. Yeah, essentially... that sort of Sonic Mania, definitely one of my... I mark it as my second favorite 2D Sonic game behind Sonic Rush. But yeah, really, really fun game. Like, if you wanted to look into a classic game, I definitely recommend giving this one a pick up. But yeah, I just can't really say enough things about Sonic Mania. It was a really fun experience that's, I think, sort of, yeah, again, just a really fun game. Let's see... Sonic's stupidness in Lost World is comparable to the one in Sonic Prime. Yeah, but the one in Sonic Prime, actually, at least he has growth. Like, at least he can still be funny about it, whereas in Lost World, he was just a jerk. Rise of Lyric is a case of, really? Yeah. Well put, Michael, well put. I've got an idea. How about you bring a part 2 stream Transformers tier list? Actually, Metal, I'm going to be doing a Transformers tier list in this stream once we're done with this one. Because we're almost done with this one. And I do have another one lined up that we'll get to in a bit. But anyways, in regards to Sonic Forces... wow, on cue, Sonic Forces music as we're about to talk about Sonic Forces. So when I put Forces, I'm going to put this one in here. Could have been better. Because Forces, I preferred it way more over Lost World. And I think my opinions on Forces are very similar to 06. It had a lot of good... The ideas of something great was certainly there. But I feel like Forces wasn't necessarily... Well, I think it wasn't like 06 Rush, but I feel like Sega was a little bit scared. They didn't really want to take a risk, given how Sonic had performed with, you know, Lost World and Boom games and everything. So I felt Sega was a little bit scared to sort of take a leap of faith like they did with all these games. Like, and Forza still had some really good things. Like, the OC creator was arguably the best thing. What else? The soundtrack's amazing. Like, as you guys can hear, this song is really good. Let's see. Are we good? Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Let's see. But the story I felt was a little bit rushed. The story was really short. I literally beat Forces in like 2.5 hours or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, really, it had a lot of things going for it. Like, I feel like the fans have really done Forces justice, because there's actually a game called a fan game called Forces Remastered, which I've tried. It's actually really good for a fan game. It sort of shows what Forces, similar to the Sonic P06, it shows what Forces really could have been. But yeah, similar to similar to 06. I think the ideas for something great was certainly there, but they just didn't execute it properly. And again, with Forces, I do kind of have a soft spot for it, because without Forces, I wouldn't have made my Sonic OC that you guys are seeing on the bottom right of the screen. Like, so because I never really went through the OC phase as a kid, so frankly, without Forces, I probably wouldn't have that OC/persona that you guys have got there. So, in a way, I kind of owe Forces for that, so anyway, let's see. But yeah, so just, like, similar to 06, I think Forces had some potentially good ideas. It just wasn't really, they just didn't take enough risk. I'm going to be honest, I kind of heard about Sonic since I was little, but I never played any Sonic games until I started last year. First game I played was Forces, and I still love it. That's true. Because that's the thing, I think Forces is probably one of the most mixed games in the community. You've got some people that love it, some people that hate it, and you've got others like me who kind of sit in the middle with it. Essentially, like, you know, like, because like I said, sit in the middle. Like, it had some enjoyable elements, and there were some really good things there, but they didn't take enough chances with it. It just could have been a little bit better. But again, like, you know, like, I still think Forces, again, like I said, if you guys want to check it out, there's a fan-made game called Forces Reimagined or Forces Remastered. And yeah, it really sort of shows what Forces could have been, so maybe I'll have to play it on stream one day. So Sonic Forces, is that where you got your OC? Yeah, that is where I got my OC from, Metal Bread. But anyways, moving on, we'll do Team Sonic Racing next. I'll put this up here, an enjoyable game. Team Sonic Racing was a fun racing game. I don't think it beats All-Stars Transformed, but it was cool to see all the other Sonic characters that weren't in these games get a chance in the spotlight. You know, like Silver, Blaze, Omega, Rouge, all of them. And the team aspect, I think, was a really cool idea. That was something a bit new. So, like, you know, boosting in the slipstreams and, you know, sort of all that jazz. But essentially, Team Sonic Racing... The reason why I put Team Sonic Racing there as well, like, the soundtrack was really good. All the stage, all the circuits were really cool. And the customization I thought was a really neat idea as well. I thought that was really fun. But the thing that brings it down for me is the fact that it never really got... I think the multiplayer wasn't done properly. Like, I mean, like, I can't fully remember. It's been forever since I played Team Sonic Racing, but, like, it wasn't, I think the multiplayer had, like, the online multiplayer had its problems. Like, I think it was a bit too easy or a bit broken. And the problem is, I don't think Sega actually patched any of that. I think everyone was saying, oh yeah, but they'll fix that later on. And they didn't. So I think lots of people... So I think that's sort of what brought Team Sonic Racing down and why it died off fairly quickly, just because Sega didn't really bother. Like, once they released it, they were just like, oh, okay, there it is, we're done. Let's move on to Frontier, or something like that. But yeah, that's my guess. So, like I said, I'm not certain, but yeah, I just think Team Sonic Racing, it fell a little bit short, but... And plus, I don't think... I mean, I get cross-platform can be a bit hard, but most games these days try to go for cross-platform if they can. And I feel this game, if this game had cross-platform, that would have gone a long way for it, really. But, yeah. To quote a YouTuber I watch, Sonic Forces is on autopilot. Yeah, I can see that, Michael. Another game where Vector is separated from the Chaotix. That too, Minty Tails, that's another thing. That was a bit weird putting Vector in with Silver and Blaze. Like, I mean, I get Silver and Blaze are more appealing. I know one could say, what about Marine and everything, but I don't know. It's just, that's what they chose to do. So was Sonic Forces when bringing out your OC to the channel? Well, yeah, my OC, I didn't start this channel until, like, I think 2019, I want to say, maybe 2020, I can't remember. But my OC didn't really see the light of day till, like, I think either late 2020 or 2021. I'm going to say late 2020. But yeah, so, yeah, I've had this was the OC I made for Sonic Forces at the time. And, yeah, I didn't really give it much thought, really. I just kind of slapped together. Like, I just wanted a hedgehog, because, well, Sonic, Shadow, and Silver are my 3 favorites. Navy Blue is my favorite color, and I like action movies, so I tried to make him look like a spy/special ops kind of guy. And, yeah, of course, he's changed a bit since then. You know, now he's got the backstory of a fighter pilot and everything, but, you know, still, yeah. Okay, so next up, we've got the last game, Frontiers. Now, I'm going to say this, to anyone who hasn't played Sonic Frontiers, I suggest clicking off the stream for now, or maybe just muting for a little bit. Because I will be going into spoilers here, because I know some people in here, like I know Michael hasn't played it yet. So, yeah, in regards to Frontiers, guys, if I'm putting the warning here now, if you want to just mute for a little bit, or just click off for a few minutes, that's fine. Because once I'm done with Frontiers, we're going to move over to the next tier list. And, essentially, so, basically, yeah, so yeah, if you guys haven't played Frontiers, I recommend just tuning out for a little bit. And then, of course, come back in once I'm done talking about it, which will probably just be probably won't be long. But Frontiers, where am I going to put this? So, assuming you guys have all clicked off for temporarily, okay? Where do I put Frontiers? This one is going to put right here. Really great experience. I had a lot of fun with Sonic Frontiers. It really got my love back for Sonic. It's okay, yeah, Michael, yeah, he's already muted. Yep, don't worry, that's fine. And like I say, you guys, if you haven't played Frontiers and you don't want to be spoiled, yep, just mute now. That's fine. I completely get that, because I'm going to go into spoilers here. So Frontiers, it made me remember why I loved Sonic again. It's, really, it brought in a new style of gameplay, sort of merging the boost formula and the adventure formula together. The soundtrack was amazing. The boss themes, like the Titan themes, like, you know, Undefeatable, Break Through It All, and Find Your Flame, they are amazing. I freaking love those songs. I do feel, though, Frontiers, similar to Unleashed, it does have its flaws, though. Like, the gameplay can get a little bit repetitive from time to time. Like, because I'll confess, by the time I got to, like, say, the 4th island and the 5th island, I was kind of getting a little bit sick of kind of trying to just constantly track down the Chaos Emeralds. And I felt the story, or the ending of the story, was a little bit rushed. Like, they just kind of ran out of a quick way to end it. But ultimately, it set a good foundation, and I'm looking forward to the future going forward. But, you know, Sonic Frontiers, yeah, it's a really good game, and I feel like if you're someone who wants to try and get back into Sonic, that is totally fine. But essentially, yeah, Frontiers is a really fun game. It does have its flaws, but I'm looking forward to the update that we get. I'm really looking forward to that DLC. I'll probably stream that as well. Don't forget Vandalize. Yep, correct, Minty Tails. We got Vandalize in there by 1OK Rock. I'm Here as well as another good one. But yeah, like, yeah, Frontiers, it still is a really fun game, and yeah, I think it still deserves, like, I know, again, Frontiers gets a really mixed thing, because I know there were quite a few people that didn't really like Frontiers. I think lots of people were just saying it was a Breath of the Wild ripoff, or it was just, you know, but regardless, I still think it's really fun, and, you know, if someone wants to give it a crack, I'd definitely recommend that. Okay, but anyway, so there's the tier list, and you know what, I'll quickly save this. Actually, let's just do right here, Sonic Games, download image, there we go. I'll put that up on my Twitter page later. Okay, but anyways, I'm going to just quickly change over to this screen while I get the next tier list pulled up. Just give me one sec, guys. Okay, I'll just put in here. Just put that in the chat real quick. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Let me look at this account. Uh-huh. Alright. I've been going for an hour and 15, roughly, or an hour and 12, technically. Back here. Alright, so welcome back to all those that muted for Sonic Frontiers. We've done Sonic, but you guys know me. There's another fictional franchise I love. It's Transformers time. So I've listed off all the major Transformers shows that I can think of, and I'm going to do a similar thing. So, one of the best, a great watch, fairly enjoyable show, and not terrible. I hate it again, and I haven't seen it. So again, I've only got one I haven't seen it here. It's just because like I haven't seen it really, and I don't really feel the need to sort of look at new shows if it looks appealing to me or not. But you know, essentially, yeah. So it's time for give the Transformers a bit of love here. But anyways, yes, bring out the Transformers. Yep, they're finally here, Nova. You're welcome. My apologies, I'm going off now. I enjoy watching your live stream later. Yeah, right, thank you for stopping by, Keith. Good to see you as always. Okay, so we'll kick things off with the original, Generation 1. This one's going up here, one of the best. Now, I know this game... Oh, game. Wow. Now, this show, I know, it's got a few errors, like animation errors and color errors and everything, but that's mostly because Hasbro had a lot of strict deadlines back then. But essentially, the reason why I'm putting this one up here, it's the original show, it's what made Transformers popular in the first place. You know, it's what really brought so many of these characters to life. G1 Optimus is without a doubt my favorite fictional character ever. He's my comfort character. He's kind of like a second father to me in a way. I should be clear, I love my real dad, but you know. But still, yeah, Optimus, like, I just love this show. And this was part of the reason I got into Transformers in the first place. This wasn't the first Transformers show I watched, it was the second, but, you know, my uncle showed it to me from a really young age because he watched it in the 80s as a kid. And, yeah, so basically, that's just sort of, yeah, it's got to go up here. It's the OG, you can't go wrong with it, so I'm going to put that up there. Transformers more than meets the end. Now you're good, Nova, I can see why you bring that one up. So I'll try and do most of these in order if I can. Let's see, what's the next one? Is that there? I think so, yeah. Let's see, so we'll do Beast Wars next, because again, I kind of missed the gap, sort of. Actually, no, hold on, there's another one here I'm missing. Where is it? Where's Headmasters? Where's Headmasters? I could have sworn I put Headmasters in here, hold on. Let's see, that's Forms in the Skies. Is that Headmasters? No. Oh, is that Headmasters? Hold on. Hold on a sec, guys. I'm gonna look up. Let me look through my images here. Let me see. I'm sorry, it's hard to read them. Okay, let's see. Transformers. Here we go. Do I have that one? There it is. Okay. So Headmasters. So for those that don't know, Headmasters is sort of the sequel series, the Japanese sequel series. I actually haven't seen this. I would like to maybe give it a shot one day, but I'm not really feeling a desperate need to watch it because I think it kind of screwed a few things up with the G1 story and everything. Like, I think they killed Optimus off again and everything. So, again, I'm going to put that one down there. Just haven't seen it. I'm not really too interested in it either. Let's see. Oh, the G1, TF Prime, Beast Wars, and War for Cybertron. Yes, classic show, A+. Yep. I believe the Linkin Park band are associated with the Transformers movies. Yes, they did a few songs for the movies. I'm not sure if I don't think they really wrote them. I think they were just asked if they could use those songs, like Paramount could use those songs. I think those songs are pretty fitting for the movies, but I still prefer the like the works of Stan Bush and Vince DiCola and all those guys from the 80s and everything. It just fits Transformers much more. The 80s rock music. It just fits Transformers way more in my opinion, but anyways, Beast Wars. We'll go to Beast Wars. This one is going to go into here. A great watch. Now, I'll say this show hasn't aged all that well, animation-wise. It was the first 3D animated Transformers show. It was, yeah. So my throat's killing me right now. Okay. So, Beast Wars, again, like, the animation hasn't really aged all that well, but the storyline is still one of the best ones, in my opinion. It was a really unique change for Transformers. I should be clear, there's a pretty big, there's a kind of a bit of a division here between G1 fans and Beast Wars fans. Like, I know a lot of hardcore G1 fans don't like Beast Wars because the transition from cars to animals, or from vehicles to animals, didn't really click with some. Plus, they thought the 3D just didn't fit, just didn't really work at the time. But then again, because Beast Wars was released in the 90s, that show is what got a lot of 90s kids onto Transformers in the first place. And plus, because Beast Wars was tied back into Generation 1, it actually got a lot of Beast Wars fans onto the original cartoon. So in a way, Beast Wars played a vital role in sort of expanding the fandom. But yeah, so Beast Wars, I'm definitely putting it up here. Yeah, the animation hasn't aged well, but the characters are really good. And of course, hey, these guys are going to get their own film later this year. So, I'm just going to say it's TF Animated and TF Prime S tier. We'll get to those in a bit there, Jackson Beard. Let's see. So next up is Beast Machines, which was the follow-up. I actually haven't seen this one. And to be honest, I don't think it was meant to be as good as the original Beast Wars, so I haven't really felt the need to check it out. Maybe I'll check it out one day, but again, I just haven't really felt the need to watch it. So yeah, Beast Machines, like I said, can't really say much about this. I haven't seen it. It's like the follow-up to Beast Wars, but from what I've heard, it's not all that good, so I'm just going to, put that one there. The next one, I believe, is Robots in Disguise, I believe. The 2001 Robots in Disguise, which is this one, I think. And this one I think this one was fairly enjoyable. The 2001 Robots in Disguise was a pretty enjoyable show. It kind of brought a new sort of anime aesthetic to Transformers, which I thought kind of works in a way. It's, I definitely think it was a bit different. You had a new cast and everything and some new characters, but it did a pretty good job at sort of keeping things relevant, but sort of keeping things fresh as well for a new generation of an audience coming in. So, like, essentially, that's just sort of, yeah, so it's just like Robots in Disguise. It's a fairly enjoyable show. I don't think it quite reaches the strides of some of the others, but it still is a pretty good show, and, if a Transformers fan was looking for something new to watch, but, yeah. If there was a tier list for Watch Sonic, there'd only be 9 items. Exactly, Minty Tails. That's why I didn't really do one for the Sonic cartoons, because there's not a whole lot of them, but Transformers, they've got a lot of cartoons, so that's, yeah. That's true, yeah, Jackson. Yeah, like, some of the characters were a bit different compared to the others, but some of them, like, say, Optimus Prime, for instance, I thought what they did to him was a good revamp, so that's why I'm putting it in there. Next up, I believe, is Transformers Armada, which one's Armada here? Let's see. Is it that one? No, this one's Armada, okay. So, Transformers Armada, this one's a good watch. This one's among one of my favorites, Transformers Armada. It was the beginning of the Unicron trilogy. It's, again, similar to the 2001 Robots in Disguise. It did a good job sort of keeping things fresh whilst keeping things relevant. It went a little bit more back to the G1 roots, I feel like. We did get a game out of this show as well, which from what I've heard is meant to be really enjoyable. I might have to see if I can get my hands on it one day. But it's Transformers Armada, and I think lots of people say this was the superior show to out of the Unicron trilogy. But yeah, this one I definitely think's a good watch. And basically, yeah, it's definitely kind of got a bit more of that anime aesthetic, but it still fits Transformers, and yeah, like I feel that's something that was definitely my favorite of the Unicron trilogy, and I feel it just yeah, I think not really that much more to say really. I think it's a good watch, and yeah, just like if you guys want to check out a Transformers show, go check it out. So next up is Energon, which is the sequel to that, which I believe is this one here. And this one I'm going to put in here. Energon wasn't terrible, in my opinion. It took a bit of a step down, to be honest, with Armada. And I think the plot, there were a few plot holes and everything as well that didn't really tie in together properly. It sort of got a bit confusing. The animation quality took a step down as well, so that didn't really work out in the end. But, still, like, sort of, I don't think it didn't really reach the same strides that Armada did, and I put it a bit lower than that because it just didn't really click for me, but I don't think it's the worst show ever produced. And again, moving on, we'll put Cybertron and Transformers Cybertron in there as well, the closeout to the Unicron trilogy. Again, similar sort of thing, like, there were a few plot holes here and there. It's not a terrible watch, but it just didn't really, and the animation, again, wasn't the best either compared to, like, what they had previously. So again, it just, like, in the shows, they're not terrible, but they're just, I don't know if I'm not too fussed about watching them again, to be honest. I only heard of Armada Megatron and Transformers Earth Wars game. That's true, they did bring Armada Megatron into the Earth Wars game, but, and yeah, another thing, the characters kind of changed quite a bit in a lot of these shows as well, and lots of which were kind of for the worse. So, but yeah, anyway, let's see. This show had my least favorite Optimus Prime. Yeah, I agree. Optimus definitely wasn't really the same in this one. But, I mean, yeah, like, so, again, just, like, they weren't terrible, but, yeah, just, I'm not feeling the need to watch them again. But things take a big turn around with this next one. Transformers Animated, all the way up here. One of the best Transformers shows ever. Say what you want about the art style, this show is amazing. This was the first Transformers show I ever watched. It's what introduced me to the characters. I know the art style throws a lot of people off, and I can see why it is very different compared to the art style of all the others, but what I love most about Animated is the story. The characters are really lovable. There's a lot of character growth and development. The characters are a bit different. Like, Optimus is only the leader of a small team of Autobots rather than the entire Autobot army. But frankly, the changes, they were welcome changes, and it sort of allowed us to see the characters in like a new light almost, in a way. And like I said, the characters were really lovable. One complaint I have is I felt it was too short. We got 3 seasons, each with only 15 episodes roughly apiece, and so there's only 45 episodes up, and frankly, that's not too long a show compared to all these other ones. And that's honestly because there was initially planned for a season 4 for Animated, but it got cancelled due to Transformers Prime, which we'll talk about next. But frankly, Animated, it really deserved a season 4. We were going to get a lot of new characters, a lot of character redesigns, and yeah, essentially, like, and again, we got like a new cast with this one and everything, and the voice acting performance was really good, because the cast was fairly small, I believe, compared to some of the other ones, but still, all the characters gave really great performances, and yeah, it was just really good, and lots of original, it had a lot of references to G1 as well, Transformers Animated, as well as other media. Like, I know, and lots of G1 voices actually returned to reprise their roles. Like, Corey Burton came back to, well, he played Ratchet and Megatron, but he also returned to reprise Shockwave. But yeah, so yeah, lots of things. Can't say enough good things about Animated. Like, I know it looked a bit odd, like, at first glance, but you know what they say, never judge a book by its cover. Like, this is definitely one of the best Transformer shows out there. Yeah, let's go. That's the show that got me. Yes, thank you, Nova. Someone who agrees with me. But anyway, moving on, we've got another great one, Transformers Prime. That also goes up here. So it was a great follow-up. This show I felt had the best storyline in any Transformers storyline. It was a pretty dark story, but it wasn't like really super gritty. Like, it was able to keep it dark without making it like super emo or super frightening, if you know what I mean. the animation in it was really good. Like the quality of 3D level in there was really well done. That's like my favorite style of animation. The character designs were really good. They were like lots of the designs were sort of were inspired from all forms of media. Like Bumblebee was a muscle car in this, which of course was drawn from the movies, but they made a more streamlined look and something that would sort of fit in something that was much more pleasing to the eyes. You know, this is also you know, we got to hear Frank Welker return as Megatron. I was really pleased about that. Like, this was probably the best. This show probably had the best Megatron as well. He was menacing. He was scary. Like, yeah. Now, of course, this the Optimus Prime in this show as well was probably the best Optimus as well overall. Like I said, G1 Optimus is still my favorite, but this Optimus was definitely the most heroic. Sort of how he started as just like a humble cleric of the Icon Vaults and sort of rose up to become the legendary Last Prime. So yeah, again, the storyline in this is really good. And the good thing with the show is that unlike Animated, which was cut short, in my opinion, this show, it had a good length. It ran for a long time. And I know lots of people say, oh, it shouldn't have ended sort of thing. But the thing is, I think when shows run for too long, eventually you just start to get sick of them. So I think Animated had a good thing where like it ran for a really good time, for a good running length. It got to the point where it didn't feel like it dragged on for too long, and it didn't feel like anything was cut short. There were no loose ends or anyway. As far as I'm aware, at least, there were no loose ends. There was nothing really wrong with it. And yet, it did a really good job of that. So that's sort of, yeah, again, I can't say enough good things about Transformers Prime. Like, if you're someone that's new to Transformers and you want to get into Transformers, I'd definitely recommend Prime, because like it's kind of like it's like a fusion of everything else that came before it in a way. So it really can sort of just help teach you a lot of things about Transformers that you probably didn't know before. Which Cliffjumper live in Transformers Prime? I don't know why they had to kill him off. Yeah, that was a shame for Cliff. I mean, you know, that was pretty hard, because I think lots of people were really looking forward to seeing Cliff on the big screen. Well, big screen, I say. Like, yeah, I mean, Cliff's been done dirty these past couple of years. Like, he got killed in Bumblebee, got killed here as well. Which is a shame, because he's a really good character, but, you know, it is what it is, really. Alright, but moving on, we'll do Rescue Bots next. Now, I know this show's meant to be made for little kids, but I'm going to put it here. I actually thoroughly enjoyed Rescue Bots, if I'm honest. I know, yes, its target audience was younger children, but there are actually some elements in there that I actually thought were pretty good. Like, I remember I would sit down and watch some of it with some of my younger cousins, and I was kind of surprised how much I actually enjoyed watching it. It was actually I'll put it this way, similar to Animated. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. It's actually an enjoyable show. I still think it's worth some to check out. Again, it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I still think it's a show. Don't just look over and say, oh, it's a kid's show. Like, no, it's definitely worth a shot. But you know. Like how Dwayne Johnson played Cliffjumper. Yeah, that was pretty cool to have him play Cliff for the first episode. When Cliff reappeared, of course, later in the show, like flashback, they got someone else because they probably didn't have enough cash to pay The Rock. But you know, it was cool to have a celebrity in there make a little appearance. Like, I do love that in shows where like they bring in like these big celebrities to like, you know, sort of play like a little cameo or like something like that. I think that's always really cool. That's what they did in Animated with Weird Al Yankovic to play Wreck-Gar. And see, moving on, I think we're going to do Rescue Bots Rescue Academy. I actually haven't seen this one, so I think thinking about giving it a watch. I think similar to Rescue Bots, I think I'd probably get some enjoyment out of it, but yeah, I actually haven't seen the sequel to Rescue Bots Academy. Well, actually, I haven't seen Rescue Bots Academy, so that's why I'm putting it in there. It still is a Again, from what I've heard, it's meant to be a pretty good show, but yeah, I just haven't really gotten around to watching it, to be honest. It's kind of hard to watch every single show in a franchise these days, to be honest. So next, I believe, is... It might be... Is it Power of the Prime? Oh, actually, no, it's... Oh, it's the other robots in disguise, and this one's going right here. I freaking hate this one. This was meant to be... For those who don't know, this one was meant to be the sequel to Transformers Prime. And it did transform... It did that really dirty. It ruined so many things. The animation was nowhere near as good. The characters were not likable, in my opinion. And... Like, again, it just... It wasn't the sequel series that Transformers Prime deserved. Like, this show was just really garbage, in my opinion. Like, characters were annoying. Like, I got, like, I think a few episodes in, and I just stopped watching just because it didn't like it. Yeah, this Rebels in Disguise, I did not like this one at all, really. It really, like, I know, if you guys enjoyed it, that's fine, but it's just not for me. I really just didn't enjoy it. Like I said, I think I got like maybe 6-7 episodes in. I just turned off like, nah, I can't. This show's garbage. Like I know often you have to sort of give shows a chance and things get better later on, but now this game, this show didn't do it for me. I just put it all the way down here. But next, I think it might be Power of the Primes, I think. Hold on, let me see. Which image is which here? I'm just going to get a look in a bit closer. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. There's a Power of the Primes, so yeah, that one's next. And this one I thought was I thought Power of the Primes was fairly enjoyable. So again, it was done by Machinima, you know, so a fairly enjoyable show. It did a lot. It brought in a lot of characters and everything, like sort of like lots of characters that maybe weren't in the same kind of universes and everything. But I still thought maybe it was some things could have been maybe done a little bit better, to be fair. I could get maybe being made by Machinima, it doesn't have the same level of budget as some of these other shows did, but I still think it probably could have done some more, because like, it just didn't really have enough going forward, in my opinion, so... And again, I think I'll say the same thing about... I'll probably say the same thing here about the Titans Return here as well. Or is this Combiner Wars, maybe? Oh, yeah, that's Combiner Wars, sorry. The Combiner Wars I'm going to put in here. And I'll probably do the same thing with Titans Return as well, actually. I think all these will get to go in here, because they're all kind of tied in together in a way. Again, they're all fairly enjoyable. Like, you have their good moments and everything, but then again, they're just kind of, yeah, I'm just kind of running out of words here because I'm just kind of repeating myself, really. Like, I get they had, like, a lower budget and everything, and it was cool to see some characters make a return and everything, particularly in the very G1-ish kind of style, but, ultimately it just didn't really work out in the end. Well, when I say it didn't work out, it still was a somewhat good watch, like I said, but it just didn't really reach the heights. It didn't reach massive heights, but then again, maybe that was just because they were limited to the budget they had, so I can't really complain too much about that. Next up is Cyberverse, which I'm going to go ahead and put in here. Because Cyberverse, that's sort of my, I sort of like to consider Cyberverse the Sonic Boom of Transformers in regards to shows. Because Sonic Boom I thought was really funny. It just didn't really have like much of an overarching plot, which prevented it from being as good as, say, like Sonic X. Cyberverse is kind of similar. At least Cyberverse does have an overarching plot, I'll give it that much. I definitely felt it was definitely a bit more kind of comedy-oriented, and the art style was definitely a bit more... It's what Transformers fans are referring to as the evergreen look. It's like they try to make it look somewhat appealing to children, in a way. I don't think it's like Rescue Bots, though. I think it's still a fairly enjoyable show. And I still think it's worth a watch to some Transformers fans out there, but But still, yeah, that's, again, yeah, it's just kind of, like, and some of the changes they brought to the characters were pretty interesting. Grimlock was an interesting one in here, like how, in robot form, he's really civil, he's a bit of a gentleman, but then when he transforms, he's like his old G1, Grimlock kind of thing. I actually have a toy of Volcanicus. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Volcanicus, he was a cool combiner. That's the other thing. In Combiner Wars, there are a lot of really cool combiners and everything, but like I said, yeah, just didn't quite reach height. Now, oh wait, hold on. Oh, looks like I'm missing... Oh, it's okay, okay. So next up is the War for Cybertron trilogy. I was meant to have all three of them here, Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom, but it seems I forgot Earthrise. So I'll just put them in the same spot, because they all fit in the same category. So the War for Cybertron trilogy on Netflix, they're going to go here. Like I said, I forgot about Earthrise, so that's why there's only two of them, but they're sitting here. They're not terrible. The animation quality was really good. It was really great to see sort of a high quality, like a sort of a Transformers Prime level of animation, again, because it was made by the same animation team. However, the storylines didn't really fit. Like, there was a lot of hype for these shows, and like everyone was like so pumped, and then when they came out, they were like, oh, that's it. Because I think one thing that didn't help was that the fact there were only 6 episodes each series, it's like, that's it, just 18 episodes overall. Like, they didn't get to do much in there. Like, it wasn't really worth the watch. And lots of shows on Netflix in particular are doing that these days. Like, they kind of do that with Sonic Prime. Like, you know, they don't show many episodes and they take a big break and then they come back with a small portion of episodes. I think it's to try and keep people hooked, but it just doesn't really work out that way, in my opinion. I thought the way they did some of the characters was interesting. Like, I kind of like the way they did Bumblebee, how he was like a bit of a rogue and then eventually he comes to the Autobots. I thought that was a pretty unique change. I thought it was a welcome change. I felt Galvatron and Nemesis Prime were kind of interesting. Oh, there were servants of Unicron, of course, but still, I felt like yeah, that maybe could have been executed a little better. Those two shows of War for Cybertron, however, the title sounded like a knockoff of Fall for Cybertron. Yeah, and I think that's another reason why people were really excited, because by using the name War for Cybertron, I think people thought this was going to be like a retelling of the games, but in show format. But that wasn't the case. And like, I mean, going into it, I knew that wasn't going to be the case because of the different art style, but yeah, just... That's part of the reason why, like, it's not terrible, it had some good things in there, but nah, just... There was a lot, I think there was a bit of disappointment there. It just didn't really hit the heights everyone thought. And we've got one more left. Earthspark. Where does this one sit? Now, it should be clear, guys. Now, I haven't seen Season 2 of Earthspark yet, so please don't spoil it for me. I'm going based off of Season 1. I want to watch Season 2. It is on my list. I've just been binge-watching F1 Drive to Survive at the moment, so I just haven't gotten around to it. But for Earthspark at the moment, I'm putting it here. It's a fairly enjoyable show. That could change, maybe. Maybe it'll go up a bit, but Earthspark, I think, is a good new take on things. Again, it kind of has similar things to Cyberverse. Kind of keep things somewhat child-oriented, but I don't think it's really a terrible watch. Let's see. I have no idea about most of what you're talking about, but I agree about the only small amount of episodes thing being annoying. Thank you, Shadow of Sephron. Also, hello, Seph. I know you don't make it here often, so I'm glad you could pop in for a little bit. But yeah, like, you missed earlier, Seph. We did a Sonic tier list of all my opinions on Sonic games and everything, so if you want to go back and watch that, you're more than welcome to, like, during the VOD. But essentially, what we've got here is, I'm just sort of doing the Transformers tier list now, but should I keep the spoilers away, man? Yes, please, Nova, yes. I haven't seen Season 2 of Earthspark. I've seen Season 1, but not Season 2, so... And like I said, I want to watch Season 2. I've just been consumed by F1 Drive to Survive at the moment because I want to watch all of that before I go to the Grand Prix at the end of the month. So, but basically, yeah. So, in regards to Earthspark, I think it's good. Some of the changes are a bit, some of the changes are a bit different as well, like Megatron being a good guy. I know that sounds a bit weird, Megatron being a good guy, but honestly, I think the way they've done it, it kind of works. It shows that even Megatron can be changed. And I'm not sure if Megatron's going to maybe dip back to the dark side a little bit, but still, it's going to be interesting to see. I know a lot of previous VAs from Transformers are returning. Like, we've got Nolan North's returning. I'm pretty sure Steve Bloom's returning as Starscream as well, which I'm really excited about. I think Twitch and Thrash is his name. I think they're cool characters, kind of being half. I know it kind of gives off the illusion that they're half Cybertronian, half human, given the name Terran. I know that sounds a bit weird, but honestly, I think the show has potential, and I think it's too early to sort of compare it. That's why I'm putting it here. So whether or not it's going to stay where it is, it might go up, it might go down, I'm not sure. But for now, that's where it sits with me. So there's no season 2 yet, just new episodes. Oh, it's just new episodes in season 1. Okay, my bad. Yeah, I misinterpreted that there, Nova. I thought, again, it's similar to what Netflix did with Siege. Like, they release episodes in a big patch, and then they take a break and release another fair. I hate it when shows do that. Just give us a full season upfront. Like, we're sick of just waiting for this stuff. It's just, it gets annoying, like, you know. But anyways, that's pretty much everything, really. That's both tier lists done. How long did this take? Let's just do here. Transformers. And again, I'll put this up on my Twitter page when we're done here. So I think we'll probably call it here. We've been going for like an hour and 45. Wow, this took way longer than I thought it would have to do both of these. But I think, yeah, I'll call it here, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, I've never done a tier listing before, so it was good to finally kind of jump on this whole tier list train thing. I know it's kind of an old thing now, but, you know, I thought it was good to do this eventually. Do you guys agree with my opinions? Do you guys disagree with my opinions? Like, actually, hold on. Maybe here's what I'll do real quick. Hold on. Let me get the other images up. Let's see, I'll get the oh my god, I'll get my Sonic one up here too. Just so that way you guys can see. Okay, hold on. So there's the Transformers one there. Here's the Sonic one here. I don't want to cut it off, but all it's cut off there is just Sega and All-Stars Racing. I think you guys can see most of that there. So, what do you guys think of these? Basically, tier lists are deceptively concept. Yep. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, there's the tier list there we finished today. Again, I'll put these up on my Twitter page, and I'll probably put them up on some Discord servers I'm in as well. But regardless, guys, thank you all for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys. I'll be streaming Ace Combat 7 again this Friday, so if you want to tune into that, make sure you do. Things are going to get a bit interesting in that game. And yeah, thank you guys.